Hi, good morning and welcome back to all of you. My name is Vishal Manocha, owner and director at Net Worth Immigration Solutions. Welcome back to our live session. Thanks for joining in. This is Friday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in Canada, and in India, back home, it's 8:30 p.m. Welcome, good evening to everybody in India, and good morning to all of you in Canada. So I'm your host, Vishal Manocha. For the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be giving you all updates from the immigration from IRCC, from PNP in the last 1 week, and we'll give you a time to ask your question live right away, and I'll be happy to answer them for you as we go along. So definitely, this is a session for you to take as many important updates you have in the last 1 week, and then also keeping in mind that you have, if you have any question, you will get time definitely to ask your question. So stay tuned, stay live with me for another few minutes, and we will be discussing everything what happened in the last 1 week throughout Canada immigration system. So we will be talking about today another Oinp draw which was held yesterday, which was again, they don't have a pre-date announced, but yes, the draw was held yesterday. So congratulations to all of them who got the invite. We will be discussing about who were the people who were invited and why were they invited and why were you not invited if you were not a part of that stream. So we will be discussing about that in detail, and then no express entry draw, no CET draw. What's happening with that one? Again, we will be talking more about it during this session. There were not too much of draws been happening right now year around, so nothing much to talk about. A lot of other PNPs, but yes, one of the provinces very aggressive in the PNP program, and they have, I think, they have been inviting almost every week or every fortnight. One or the other PNP stream they have, they are inviting people for that stream to apply for permanent residency. So that is something definitely, as I said, we will be talking about more in detail. And then we have an issue coming up in Quebec. So we will be talking about Bill 16 and also what will be the impact of that bill for the students who are willing to study in Quebec. I know Quebec has been in news from last 1 year since that issue happened last year with the private colleges. There's something new seems to be coming up, but there are few people who will be impacted and there will be certain people who will not be impacted at all. So we will be talking about them also, what will be the impact, who will be impacted, and what are you supposed to do if you actually get impacted because of that situation. So the best thing here is, so let us discuss first of all the Oinp draw which was held last week. Yes, it was another draw from Ontario province on another Ontario immigration nominee program draw, where people were invited from the skilled trade class stream. So yes, this draw was skilled trade draw. I think this is the sixth draw, or I think it's the fifth or the sixth draw of 2023, where the skilled trade class people have been invited. We all know Ontario is short of skilled trade people. They need people badly, and that's why you are seeing so many draws happening, particularly under this stream. This was a targeted draw, so not everybody under skilled trade class were invited, but there were certain NOC knocks which we have seen are been always invited, and there are few of them basically are been picked randomly. There is one particular draw stream which is out of this skilled trade, like certain knock which has not gotten invite. We'll be discussing about it more, but just let me give you a brief detail about this draw, what exactly happened, who were invited, when was this held, and why you didn't get an invite. So the draw was held yesterday, which is 18th of May. Around 1,650 approximately people were invited under this draw, so which is a big number, but they only targeted skilled trade class. So yes, if you have an experience under skilled trade class. So now what is skilled trade class? Skilled trade class is linked to Ontario, is linked to express entry. So first of all, to be eligible or you to be invited under this draw, you need to have a profile under express entry. Once you have a profile under express entry, then you have basically you will be waiting for the draw to happen. So yesterday draw invited people with score as low as 250. So that's what the main thing is. People have been getting invitation with as low as score as 250. 489 were the people, that was the range to which people invited, but the lowest score was 250. So that you can see comparing to CRS draws, which has been happening around more than 480 and 85 points. This is almost half of that. Now, why are these people being picked after very frequently? The reason is Ontario is definitely in need of these people badly. They have a skill shortage. The things are getting delayed. The projects are getting delayed. So obviously they want people with this skill shortage to get permanent residency, become a workforce of Ontario government, and definitely help the province grow. So that's the reason people have been getting invited, because of this lot of skill shortage under this stream, under this NOC knock. So now, as I said, there are few certain NOC knock majors through which I know we still call it NOC knock because people are still familiar. It is tier system now, so yes, it's under tier system. Under those tier system also under tier 2. Normally these are under tier 2 and tier 3. All these NOC knocks are under tier 2 or tier 3. People like carpenters, people like supervisors who are in this trade, supervisor electrician trade, people with background in construction, these are the people who have been invited. People who have got experience as a painter, these are the people who have been invited. So there are a lot of people who get invited, and this is the most popular Ontario Immigration Nominee Program draw. This is the 6th draw of this year, which is big in number, you can see. And obviously, we all know that last year, the Oinp quota has been increased to twice as compared to the previous year. So you will be seeing more of these draws coming up in the coming months. Usually, we have seen, for example, we are in May, and if it's the 5th draw, so you can see after almost every month, if you take an average, we are having a draw under the stream. So the best opportunity for students to qualify, the best part is, even if you have done grade 12, everybody says getting onto PR in Ontario is difficult because your score will never go to 480. You have to have a master's, you have to have about 8,777 hours, you have to have 3 years experience. But this particular draw, even if you are only grade 12 pass out and you have done 1 year of experience in Canada, you will get an invitation through, but you have to have a profile in Express Entry. That is the only way you can be picked. Once you are picked, you have to accept the invitation. Once you accept the invitation, you have 45 days to submit the application, complete application with all the relevant document and information they need. Once you get to that point, you submit the application. The PNP will take another 80 to 90 days, or sometimes even longer than that. Maximum time is around 120, but the average processing time is around 90 days. So if you are picked and you have been invited, you have this much of 45 days to submit the application, and approximately 90 to 100 days to get an Oinp result. Once you get a positive result, you will get an extra 600 points added into your Express Entry. And if your score was, say, for example, 250, it will go to 850. And whenever the next Express Entry draw held, you will be picked and you will be invited to submit your application for your permanent residency. So this is how your the whole stream works. A lot of questions we get during this one is, for example, you apply for an Oinp, and that time you were single, say, for example, and now once your Oinp was approved, you got married and you want to apply for permanent residency. So can you still accompany your spouse? The answer is yes. All you need to do is update Oinp that you got married after your PNP was approved, and just send them that note or notification through your email. And after that, definitely you can even accompany your spouse under the stream, and your score will not drop, because even if you accompany spouse, your score has already been added by 600 points after this approval. So even adding your spouse can maybe reduce your points by 20-25 points, but still your score will be definitely higher than the usual. Like last week, I think this week there was no Express Entry draw. Last week there was a draw, Express Entry draw, where only PNP people were invited. Now this is a part of it. So if you get your PNP approved and you are into the pool, you have 600 points. If you have a specific draw, you will be invited. Even if you have an Express Entry general draw happening, even then the chances are that you will be invited under this draw. So basically, skilled trade class is for every person who is in Ontario can qualify, as far as you have got an experience, you're on a work permit, you have got a 1 year experience, you can do it. That is very, very important for you to note that is something definitely you can do. And if you are, for example, you're not able to find a job, there are a lot of companies who are offering a job there. If you have a skill set, definitely you will find a job in this stream. And as I said, even if you are grade 12, you don't have to move. You can get your permanent residency done through this popular stream. This is proper from last 3 years. We have seen recent frequent draws, very big numbers draws happening under this particular stream. So definitely it has good time for you, good chance for you to qualify even if you are the grade 12 student. So that is about Oinp skill trade draw, which was held yesterday. Just to give you a brief, it was held yesterday. The number of people invited were around 1,650, and the score under CRS minimum was 250 to 489. These were the point rate under which people got the invite. So congratulations to all of them who have been invited. Once you're invited, as I said, you have no time to submit the application in 45 days. Submit it, get PNP approved, get 600 points, apply for your permanent residency, and get it done. So the whole process should not take you more than 6 to 8 months, or maximum a year. You should have your permanent residency approved. Although, yes, we still know, although the strike is over, IRCC is still struggling with the backlog they have. The processing times are very, very slow. All they are trying to implement a lot of things to get the processing time as low as possible, but still it seems to be a big challenge, and processing time of the application is still much, much higher as compared to a lot of category of applications. So in fact, most of the category application is taking longer than the usual processing time. IRCC is still not back to their normal processing time or pre-pandemic time. They are still struggling. Hopefully, we can just hope that the processing time goes back to the normal, but it seems to take longer than the usual. Although we don't understand why there's a delay in those processing of applications. People can be hired, new people can be offered a job, and definitely once they're offered a job, they can once they are being offered a job, definitely then you can obviously more people working, more hand people working, more expert people working, then definitely you will have more processing application will definitely drop down. So let's see how it goes. But yes, still the application processing time is much, much higher than the normal processing time of any application before pandemic level. Hopefully that improves very soon. So talking about the express entry profile, express entry draw, there was no draw held this week. The last draw which was held was last Wednesday, where only PNP, it was the PNP express entry draw, where only people who have got PNP approved were invited. Nobody else was invited under the draw. So that is one thing you all need to aware of, that this week there was no draw. Last week, yes, there was a draw, and it was only PNP people who invited. Canadian Express class, still no hope, looking up soon. I don't know what exactly is going to work out, but now from here, definitely. See, the first thing you need to understand, I know people who come here, they start talking about the government, that they called you here for study, and now you're not getting your permanent residency. All we need to understand here is not everybody who comes here especially on a study permit will get their permanent residency approved. That is not true always. That's the first thing. Secondly, yes, there are pathways. That what the immigration program says, that you have different pathways to get your permanent residency, but nobody guarantees you that if you get a study permit, you'll get a permanent residency for sure. Nobody is giving you that guarantee, and if somebody is giving you a guarantee, then definitely they are not telling you the exact truth. The only thing is, yes, you get your study permit, you can come here and study, but that doesn't give you any surety that you will get your permanent residency. You have to figure out different pathways through which you get your PR. You need to be in touch with the consultant who can help you getting your permanent residency. If you're unable to find a permanent residency through express entry, then provincial nominee could be an option. Maybe you have to move to the other provinces where the PR permanent residency be there. Maybe your skill set is required in the other province. For example, you did your education from Ontario, but your skill set may not be required in Ontario, but it may be required in Alberta. Then you can move to Alberta, and definitely then you can have your, if you move there in Alberta, then definitely you can have their own pathways, and through those pathways, you can get your permanent residency approved. So you have to be aware, especially grade 12, not even in grade 12, I will say, even people who are graduate and who are in Canada are struggling to get permanent residency approved. So this is something you need to keep in mind, that yes, you need to have permanent residency. If you want to get that approved, then you have to work out your ways. You have to think about different ways through which you get your permanent residency, and definitely we can assist you and help you in that regard too. If you need further information or any further counseling session in this one, you can book the counseling. We don't charge for the initial counseling, but yes, we definitely provide you all the option, all the information we have, which can help you get your permanent residency. So if you need any help or assistance, you can contact us, and we will be very happy to help you in this regard. Now, talking about immigration, as I said, there was nothing, no, not too much of draws have held in the last 1 week. No express entry, no PNP, no express entry, no CET draw. So let us talk about now about spousal PR application. For example, if you're a spouse and you want to invite your spouse on a spousal PR application, there are two ways of doing it. You can do it, for example, if your spouse is offshore, then you can do an application where it's called outland application for your spouse, or either way of doing it could be that you get inland PR sponsorship for your spouse. So what the difference is, for inland, your partner or your common law or your spouse are already in Canada, for example, on a visitor visa or on a work permit, and you got married to somebody PR. Now they can do your PR application, which is called inland PR application. Through that inland PR application, you get also get a work permit till your PR application is approved. So they give you a status to work while they're working on your PR application. So definitely, inland application gives a lot of benefit, but not everybody qualifies. Now, for all the clients who are outside Canada and they got married to somebody who is a Canadian citizen or PR, they want to do their spousal application. That is called outland application. In that application, you don't get a work permit, but yes, recently we have seen after applying for a PR application, if you do a visitor visa, you have seen a lot of cases, in fact, where IRCC is granting them a visitor visa while the PR application is under process. Although there's again no guarantee that that's going to happen, but yes, that's how the things are right now. That you can apply for PR, you can apply for your spousal PR inland and outland depending on the situation you are in, where you are exactly, where your spouse or partner is right now. Those people will get an invite. So that is about a spousal PR application. We have got very high success rate under this category. More than 98% of our applications gets approved. Almost 100%, I'll say, they get approved. If you are somebody who's looking to sponsor your spouse for a permanent residency for within Canada or outside Canada, you can contact our expert team, and they will be happy to assist you in that regard. And if you are basically if you have any trouble getting doing an application, or you're not able to know how exactly that, because it is very important. The first and most important thing under this category of application is very important for you to convince the IRCC officer that this is not a marriage of convenience and it is a genuine relationship and genuine marriage. That is the most important thing they look at when they do a PR application. When an officer exactly look at your application, there are a lot of ways how you can let IRCC know. There are a lot of documents you need to submit. So these applications are not easy, not very complicated, and not, I'll say, very easy to do. So you definitely need to have a lot of information. Information are available on the online website also, but there are key things where you need to be able to figure it out. In that circumstances, you might need an IRCC or any immigration consultant to help you out. So that's where we come in. If you have any question, any doubt about any of your application, definitely we can help you in that. And as I said, clients, this does give you all of you a time to ask questions during this session. So thank you definitely always everybody for joining this show. I've got a lot of viewers coming in every time for this live session, but I do request you to kindly ask your question. That makes this session more interactive, more interesting. When I know that you have question in your mind which you need to ask, you can ask in Hindi, English, Punjabi, whichever language, but definitely ask more questions so that we can help you answer that question and help you getting the queries you have in your mind. Because I can only give you an update. I can only answer definitely something to which we been posted on the, say, I've got seen a couple of questions are coming in. So I'll take up those questions while we talk about more about the updates we have. But let me take up the two questions we have for now. We have Amit joining us. He's one of our regular viewers who always join into the show. Thank you, Amit, for joining in. Thanks, Priya, once again. And then we have Hemant. Good morning, sir. Question: does primary applicant need written job offer to apply PGWP and spousal open work permit? Okay, so basically, a job letter will be a written one. There will be no verbal communication which could be taken into consideration for sure. So you need a job letter, but the only thing is you don't need a knock O, A, B, or C job now, or a tier 1, 2, 3 knock. So if you're working anywhere, your spouse can apply for a spousal open work permit. but yes, they should be working, and you should have a red letter that yes, she's working. But as I said, it could be any job she's working at or he's working at, your partner's working at. They can, but they need to get a job offer definitely from the employer. And once they get a job offer, then only you can apply. But as per the new rule and changes which were made early this year, you don't need a knock OAB job now anymore. So if as far as your spouse is working, that is good enough, and you will definitely get a work permit on that ground, and your spouse will open work permit also extension on that ground. But for PGWP, sorry, just to give you know, for PGWP, you don't need a job offer. Only for spousal open work permit extension, you will need it. Just to make this clarification here, if you are, for example, if your wife is applying for post-graduation work permit, she don't need a job letter. But if she's applying for the extension, or he's applying for extension, then definitely you need a job letter. I hope, Hemant, that answers your question. If you still have any question, definitely you can post another one, and I'll be happy to answer them for you again as we go along. Then we have Steve asking, I am in Canada to meet my family member on a visitor visa. Can it be possible that I can change my visa to work permit? Yes, Steve, if you're coming in on a visitor visa, you can change a visitor visa into a study permit and into a work permit, both. So depending on what your profile is. For example, you come here on an education, if you're grade less than grade 12 and minor student, if you want to apply for a study permit, you can do that. The rules are different, but if you're saying somebody who is a graduate, who is mature, and they want to apply from visitor to study, there's a different pathway to do it, but yes, that is possible again too. Talking about visitor to work permit, yes, that is definitely very much possible. There are a lot of people who get their visitor visa converted into work permit, but you need to have a valid job offer, and that valid job offer definitely means a positive LMI approval letter. Once you have a positive LMI approval, you have to apply for your work permit. So it takes around 6 months to 8 months to get it converted from a visitor to work permit. But you also have to make sure while your process is going, you are while we are doing this process, you still maintain your status. For example, you came in a visitor, you only get 6 month entry, and this process may take longer than that. If it's taking longer than that, although your study permit application may be under process or a work permit application may be under process, you have to parallelly apply for your visitor record, so that once you're on your visitor record, you can definitely do that. So that's how the things work. But yes, Steve, to answer your question, a visitor visa can be converted into a work permit. Then we have Vinit Gailan asking, hi sir, if you have any question, Vinit, kindly go and post into the comment section. Again, I'll be happy to answer and take that question from you right now. But as of now, yes, hello to you and definitely welcome to our live session. We have this live session every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and in India in the evening, 8:30 p.m. In this session, we give you updates about what happened in the immigration industry in the last 1 week. The news, the updates, and the upcoming things are discussed in the show. And definitely, it gives you time to ask your question. And as many questions you want to ask, you can ask it. As I said, that makes this session more interactive, more understanding, and more interested for the people who are looking. How much time it will take for visa after submitting file? So when first of all, it depends on what category of application it has been submitted. It's a visitor visa, study permit, work permit, PR, whatever it is. So first of all, every application processing time is different. To exactly check the website, I'll know maybe that is not the exact information available online, but IRCC web, if you go to the IRCC website, it does tell you about the processing time of each category of application. So depending on under which category or under which category you've applied your application. Okay, study visa. So study visa right now, it's taking somewhere around a month's time, 4 to 6 weeks. We are getting our study permit application approved. Even a couple of them got approved in a couple of weeks. So you can say, but the average processing time is around 4 to 6 weeks. So if you have applied now for September intake, you should be good enough and you should be getting your visa approval before that. But again, if you still have any concern but as I said, sometimes the IRCC timing mentioned on the processing time mentioned on the website are not accurate and not exact. So just you can take a rough idea from them. But as far as we know, we are getting results every day. We got, I think, 5 study permit approval today and 5 were approved yesterday. So we have been getting study visa approved regularly. So definitely that is, we can also help clients who are in Canada and who are looking for admissions or outside Canada. We will be coming to that later after the questions. Shipra has a question. Hi, is there any other way to convert tourist visa to work permit without spending more money like LMI that charges more than 10 lakh? Shipra, the basically thing is you have to have an employer. You need to have an employer who is ready to offer you a job. As far as they are ready to offer you a job and you have your skills matches the exact requirement the employer has, then definitely you can apply for a work permit without you can apply for an LMI and a work permit and convert your visitor visa into a work permit. But you need to have a genuine job offer to do that, and that's how the things work. I hope that answers your question, Shipra. Then we have Prakesh. Hi Prakesh, if you have any question, kindly go ahead and post it, and definitely I'll be answering them. So, what is the process of work visa? I want to go Canada. Prakash, if you're outside Canada and if you want to come to Canada on a work permit, yes, that is possible. But again, as I was answering the previous question, first of all, you need to have an employer who's ready to offer you a job. Once they are ready to offer you a job, they need to apply for an LMI application for you, which takes around 3 to 4 months. Once the LMI is Labor Market Impact Assessment, once that you get a positive result for the application, then you will get then definitely you get that you apply for a work permit, and the work permit is taking around 1 to 2 months. So basically, yes, during the whole process could take around 6 to 8 months. But yes, definitely it is possible for you to process your work visa for Canada, but you need to have a job offer, then only you will be able to do it. I hope that answers your question, Prakash. So the last thing before we definitely wrap up the session, we will be talking about onshore and offshore admissions for January 2024 and September 2023 intake. So we have got seats available for fall 2023. May is already closed. All the information, basically all the admissions are closed for May 2023. Now we are looking for September 2023. If you're onshore, we have seats available across GTA, Cambrian, Canada, Alpha. For September 2023, we can find you a seat into those colleges as and when they open up. But even if you talk about Niagara, Toronto, Fanshawe, Fleming, we can help you get admission in most of the programs. If you are onshore, definitely we can help you do that. So talking about offshore, yes, again, the May is closed. Fall is still open for few of the colleges for 2023, but most of the colleges are open now for January 2024. So January 2024 is something you can target now if you are willing to come to Canada. But if you've already scored a letter, an LOA, letter of acceptance from one of the Canadian institutions, you can still apply for fall 2023 intake. But otherwise, the seats are now closed for most of the colleges for offshore students, and as I said, onshore seats are open or will be opening up very, very soon now for onshore admissions. Let me take another few questions. My primary applicant just now finished studies and got course completion. So do we need to wait for a job offer and then apply PVS with the single application? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Say if you want to do both of the applications, first of all, you don't have to do both the applications together. You can do it separately. My advice to you will be don't wait for a job offer, apply for a post-graduate work permit for the principal applicant. Meanwhile, looking for a job. Once you get a job, then with the help of that, you apply for a spousal open work permit. So don't try to submit both the applications together. You'll be wasting time because now the principal applicant, the primary applicant is allowed to work full-time as soon as she or he submitted her work permit application. So don't waste that time. If you've got your completion letter and and your transcript, apply for post-graduate work permit right away for the primary applicant, and meanwhile find a job. As soon as you get a job, go ahead and find the jobs for to apply for your spouse open work permit extension. I hope you're not confused anymore. If you need further advice or help, again contact us and we will be happy to help you. Shipra has another go. But to find job, companies ask about eligibility as in work permit. Isn't that hard to find jobs in Canada sitting from Britain? Shipra, yes, you're very, very right. It's very, very hard to find a job for you without having a work authority in Canada and without basically having a job offer. Definitely, you will not be able to apply for a work permit. Finding a job is difficult from another country. Yes, it is very, very difficult. If your employer knows you don't have a authorization right to work in Canada and they're not willing to like offer you a LMI or a temporary foreign work permit through which you can apply for a work permit. So it does get very difficult to get a job offer while you are outside the country or in any other different country than Canada. But that's how the process is, and it is difficult to find a job definitely through sitting somewhere else and then finding an employer offering you a job and then applying for an LMI is not very easy, and not very employers are comfortable doing that. So thanks, Shipra, for your question. Then we have Nakul. Hi, sir. Good morning, sir. Which intake is best for study visa? Can we get job with college? Okay. Now to answer the question, which intake, the first part of the question, which intake is best to study? All intakes are good. The major intake is fall 2023, where all the colleges are open and the program are open. But if you look at students from India, if they want to come and study in September, it's getting hard for them to get enrolled in September. The reason is, the very simple and the pure reason is because you get your results. Recently, we have got your grade 10 and grade 12 results, and by the time you get your result, the fall intake is almost closed. So the people who graduate, example, who cleared the exam, who done there, they will be applying for winter 2024 intake. So that is the best time for students who graduate, who have completed their grade 12, even who have done graduation. The results in India are out by June, July. So getting into September is difficult. So you either apply for the following January or following fall intake. But we have three major intake basically: January, winter, spring, and fall. But fall is still far at for the biggest intake for the college admissions. Finding a job, definitely, it's not very easy to find a job. So be prepared when you move to Canada that jobs are not like hanging fruit. You can just go and grab it. You have to work hard. You have to go and apply your CVs. Be at interview places for many places before you get offered a job. So it's not very easy to get a job. So make sure that you are aware of this, and it is not going to be the day you land you'll be offered a job. So that's the reason why the GIC has been put into place, so that you don't feel pressure. That's why IRCC has designed the SDS program, that you pay your 1-year tuition fee upfront, and then you pay your GIC upfront, so that once you're in Canada, if you're not able to find a job the moment you come in, then definitely you have enough resources to spend at least for 4 to 5 months or even 6 months without a job. But definitely at the end of the day, you want to get exposure, you are looking for a job, so you have to find it, but you have to make efforts and step towards it to get a job. So I think that's it for this session, guys. I've answered all the questions. I've given all the updates we have from the last 1 week. There was not too much regarding the draws which were held last week, but it was nice to see questions being put up. That's what I always tell my viewers and clients. Kindly post your question into the comment section. That makes this session more lively, more interactive. People and get more knowledge about how the things are happening. I know people feel shy of asking questions, but that's fine. You can ask in Hindi, English, whatever way you want, or Punjabi. I can answer that. But definitely, that's the best way to communicate and make this session more lively. So thank you all for joining into this live session. We will be live back again next Friday, 11 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. India. It is summertime here. It's a long weekend here. In fact, we have a long weekend, so we are off on Monday to let all of our clients and viewers know. Our office is closed on Monday for the Victoria Day, but we'll be back working. We are working tomorrow 11 to 4, but then we will be working back again on Tuesday at 10 a.m., 10 to 6 as our normal office hours. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you and welcome. And definitely you're always welcome to be a part of this show. So do tune in and join in for next Friday for more updates. Till then, goodbye and take care.